I need this explained to me. I gots to get on the Herman Cain train. He's on with us right now. Herman Cain joins us on Houston's Morning News. Mr. Cain, it is a pleasure, sir.
Well, Matt, it's my pleasure. Thanks for having me on.
I got to tell you, I'm getting emails from all over the country. People are listening, not only in Houston, but online. It is great to have you with us. We've got this protest going on in downtown Houston. I don't know if you brought that with you, these Occupy Houston people. Are they following you around, Herman?
No, they're not. I think it started in New York on Wall Street.
Sure.
So now they're trying to disrupt this whole country. But Matt, all that is an attempt on the part of the left is to create a distraction away from the failed policies of this administration. There's no question about that. Some people are falling for it, but a lot of people know that it is just a distraction because of all of the failed policies.
Now, you have your 999 plan, and you have a simple plan. You've come out with something. You've actually got something that we can understand. But some people have a little trouble understanding it. Can you explain it? And I know you don't have a lot of time, but it kind of give us a thumbnail appraisal of your 999 plan.
I can do it in a minute. That's what makes it so powerful. We first throw out the existing tax code, and we pass a legislation that imposes a 9% business flat tax, a 9% personal income flat tax, and a 9% national sales tax. Those three taxes will replace the payroll tax, the capital gains tax, the corporate income tax, the personal income tax, and the death tax. So we replace 5 taxes, and we replace spending $430 billion a year on filing and compliance down to a real simple 999. Now, the other thing, Matt, that a lot of people are going to try to say is that it is regressive on the poor. Mm-hmm. No, it is not. If they do the math and compare what they're paying now and what they would pay at nearly every income level to what it would be on the 999, most people are going to come out ahead. And I mean most, I'm talking about north of 95% of the people are going to pay less taxes. Why? Because we've expanded the base by adding in that sales tax component. That's the 999 plan. And the other thing that it's going to do, it's going to provide some certainty to the business community, which is what they're looking for, so they can begin growing again. And so, in summary, 999 means jobs, jobs, jobs.
And that's what we need. We're talking with Republican presidential candidate Herman Cain. And Mr. Cain, if you would hang on 1 second, I want to come back. I want to talk about the book. This is Herman Cain, My Journey to the White House. I want to talk about where you came from and how you know what it's like to be discriminated against, and some of the statements that you made about African Americans and the responses from folks right here in Houston.
Now, back to Matt Patrick and your morning news.
And we're on the love train, the Herman Cain love train. Hey, you used to be a singer in the choir. Weren't you the choir director I read in your book?
Yeah, I was a choir director earlier in my life when I was living in Omaha, Nebraska. I was a choir director, and I also was a soloist in the church gospel choir. I could carry quite a tune, man.
I'll bet you could, Herman. Well, listen, there's so much that our listeners want to ask you. One of our listeners asked about the moderate vote. He's afraid, he wants to vote for you. He's afraid that you're going to move towards the middle when they start telling you, Herman, that the only way to stay on top is to get that moderate vote. You're not going to do that, are you?
I'm not going to do that. And here's why, man. My solutions, they transcend whatever your political orientation is or whatever you think your political, leanings are. How can you argue with 999? It's not left, right. It's just correct because it's going to boost this economy, and it's also going to, help people to be inspired to begin to grow this economy. We're going to create jobs. And so I don't because I'm not going to worry about where moving to the right or the middle on social issues. Everybody knows where I stand. I'm a conservative on nearly all of the major social issues. The fiscal issues and foreign policy is where I am going to be very clear about where I stand.
Mr. Cain, it sounds like you're doing this like a startup business, which is really turning things around for people.
Exactly. And you know what? This is exactly the attitude that I had in doing my campaign. We didn't have $1 gajillion like some of the other people in order to launch this campaign. We have been basically running this campaign within our means. Yes, I had to put some of my own money to get this thing jump started, but I was proud of the fact that at the end of the first reporting period, This campaign announced that we had no debt,
right,
even though we didn't have a whole lot of money in terms of cash on hand. Guess what? The report that's coming out on the 15th of October, we are going to be able to announce that again, no debt, and we're going to have a respectable amount. It is. We need to get people in this country to renew their faith in how great this country can be, instead of focusing on how bad this country is becoming because of the failed policies of this administration.
Let me ask you this. In your book, you talk about your mom, who was a maid. You talk about your dad, who had 3 different jobs. You never realized that you were poor, and it wasn't until you got much older, Herman, that you realized where you grew up. There were the white drinking fountains. There were the colored drinking fountains, as you described them. You and your brother once tested the water on the white side and the colored side, and what did you find out?
Well, after my brother, I was 7 and he was 6, and my mom was shopping in the bargain basement at one of the downtown department stores, and she said, we asked her if we could get some water, and she said yes. And she said, now, you all make sure you drink out of the colored fountain. And we said, okay, Mom. But being naughty little boys, we got over to the fountains, and we didn't see anybody looking, so we thought we would taste the white water to see if it tasted any different from the colored water. And after we both got a taste of each, we looked at each other and said, the water tastes the same. What's the big deal?
Now, what's interesting?
So that's what we discovered.
Yeah, and what's interesting is you've made this statement about African Americans being brainwashed into voting for Democrats. Our own Sheila Jackson Lee took a lot of umbrance to that particular statement. Do you still hold to that African Americans have been brainwashed somehow to vote democratically, to vote for the Democratic Party?
Yes, I still stand by that statement, and the rest of it that doesn't always get played, as I said, that the good news is a large percentage of the black population are thinking for themselves. I see them, I meet them at this event that I'm attending here in Houston today. I've had some black conservatives come up and say, Mr. Cain, I'm one of those that thinks for myself. But I stand by my statement, because when you have a lot of black Americans who will not even consider an idea such as 999 from someone who happens to be running to get the Republican nomination, that's called brainwashed. Because if you're not open to other ideas, guess what? You're brainwashed. Yeah. And so to go back to the comment made by someone that you said was a moderate, this is an example of how if I say something, I'm going to stand by it, and I'm not going to back off simply because someone wants to intimidate me by calling me a name or saying that I have insulted black people. I didn't insult black people, not the ones that are thinking for themselves, but I happen to think that President Obama insulted black people more when he gave that scolding to the Black Caucus a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
so, I stand by my statement.
And I agree with you. It is such a pleasure to have you in town here. You're at the Woodland signing your book. This is Herman Cain,
Yes.
My Journey to the White House. Look forward to seeing you again in Houston. The best of luck from all of us, Mr. Cain. Keep it going, my friend.
I will. And for people who want more information about where I'm going to be in the Woodlands, go to hermancain.com. hermancain.com has my schedule. Or they could go to thisishermancain.com. And I thank you so much for the time, Matt.
It is our pleasure. Presidential candidate Herman Cain joining us here this morning on KTRH.